Welcome back. I'm a lemur, in case you're wondering. Chess. History and how to play. Let's learn a little bit more about chess. Medieval times was a period in European history where there was, of course, many kings and kingdoms, and the whole region was splintered into many different small groups, and oftentimes there was fighting between these different groups. This period of time took place from the end of the Roman Empire all the way up until the Renaissance. And chess is a game that simulates fighting between two kingdoms. And different pieces in the game represent different medieval characters. Chess is almost 1,500 years old, so it's really old. And it actually originated in India. It didn't originate in Europe. In the 6th century, and it was originally called chaturanga, which means 4 divisions. And that basically 4 divisions referred to the 4 divisions of an ancient Indian army, which were the infantry, which was just the ground troops, the cavalry, the chariotry, and finally the elephantry. And the game actually had different pieces based on all these different 4 main parts of an army. Okay, so the infantry, of course, is the pawns. The cavalry, of course, is the knights and horses. The elephantry were actually kind of different pieces. They had kind of different moving abilities. And chariotry was represented by the rook or the castle. But we're going to go over more of all those pieces in a second. Let's talk about how chess moved through the world. So here's an original chess set, very ancient. It spread to Persia and it gained the name chess. So here it goes. Chess went from India into Persia, and they're playing with their friends. They're saying, "Hey, here's this cool new game we got," and they said, "Wow, that's fun." Anyways, chess didn't gain its name until it went into Persia, and it is derived from Shah, which means king, or Shahmat, which means checkmate. So, Shas. When the Arabs conquered Persia, chess was taken by the Muslim world, and it was taken by the Moorish conquest of Spain. So here it goes. It's spreading. The Arabs are conquering Persia. They take it all the way across through the upper region of northern Africa, and then they try to conquer into Spain. The Moors conquer into Spain, and here they bringing chess with them, and that's when chess kind of transformed, and Europe really changed the pieces and eventually added the queen piece too, because that one didn't exist in the original Indian form as well. But let's talk more about basic stuff. Less about history now. Let's talk about what's the point of the game. The point of the game is to defeat the other player's king piece. Okay? So it's like a fight between 2 kings, and they got their armies. You gotta beat the other king to win. Each piece has a different way of moving that you have to kind of remember. So here's one of the first basic kinds of pieces. A pawn moves by moving mostly just straight forward. Okay? So on its first move, it can move 2 spaces straight forward. So only on the first move, pawn can move two spaces forward. Every other move, it just moves 1 space forward. But if there's a piece diagonal to it, over here or over here, it can attack those pieces and capture those. Okay? It can only attack diagonally. It can't attack straight ahead. A rook or a castle can attack straight ahead or straight to the side, all the way across the board. So whatever, it can move as far as it can, just straight ahead or to the side. A bishop, which looks like this, can move diagonally as far as it can go, kind of like the rook, but just in diagonals. A knight has one of the most complex movements. So the knight can move kind of in an L shape. Okay, so it can move so forward 2 and then 1 across, forward 2 and 1 across, or forward 2, 1 across, forward 2, 1 across, forward 2, 1 across, 4, 2, 1 across. You get the point. So it moves in a little L shape wherever it can go, and it can jump over pieces too. That's a unique thing that the knight can do. If there's a piece here, it can jump over it, but it can only attack those X squares. I don't know if I said that part. King has one of the most simple movements. The king only moves in one direction at a time, in any direction, but only moves one space at a time. Okay, so it can move one direction, diagonal or straight or to the side or wherever. The queen is the best piece in the game. She's the most powerful. She can move in any direction, either basically straight ahead or to the diagonal, as far as she can go. She's like a combination of the rook, which was the castle, and the bishop. So she can go any of those directions. All these green spaces she can attack right now, if she's right here. Let's go on to a few more terms and things to learn about chess. What does it mean? What does check mean? What is check? Do you know? Well, check means it's a condition that you can be in. So check is a condition where a player's king is under attack, and it could be captured on the very next turn unless you do something to protect it. Okay, so for example, here we have white has their queen over here, and their queen is in line to attack black's king right here. Okay, and so black needs to do something, or else next turn the queen's going to attack the king, and then it's game over. So white says check, and it means, oh my gosh, I have to either move the king, so that black could just move the king right here, or I have to protect it. So I could move the queen right here, which is probably a bad idea because then their queen could get taken out too. Or you could protect it by moving this pawn to block as well, block that path of attack. So you can get out of check, okay? It's not the end of the world, but it is not the best thing to have happen to you. What if you can't move or protect your king and you're in check? What is that? What happens then? Then it's called checkmate, and it's game over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So, for example, here is a checkmate move that happens in just 3 moves. This is one of the fastest ways to win a chess game. So, for example, white moved their pawn forward right here in front of their king, 2 spaces on the first move. Then black decided, okay, I'm going to move this pawn out from the bishop here, but it exposes their king. The next move, white can just take their queen and move it all the way over here, and that means they're in a direct line to attack the king. And then the king, he can only move right here. He can't get away. The bishop can't move out to block anything. The knight can only move here or here, so he can't do anything. So that's a 3-move checkmate. Here's another checkmate, kind of like more late game, end game checkmate. So black has no more pieces, but white has 2 rooks. White's rook is blocking these spaces here. And so the king can't move anywhere besides right here. Then next move, white moves their rook right here, and they're blocking all these spaces, and the king can't go anywhere. And it's game over. It's game over. And then it's checkmate, right? Says Jeff Goldblum. What's a strategy? What's a strategy? A strategy is a plan of action to achieve a goal. Okay? So it's just a plan. Strategy is a plan to win. And chess is definitely a game of strategy. So what are some advanced chess strategies you can think about? Well, control the center is one of the first ones. So if you are playing and you want to try to control these 4 center squares and either have pieces in them or attacking into them, and then you kind of have more control over your opponent's side of the board. Okay, so for example, white has some pieces here in the center. Our next strategy: develop as many pieces as possible. Developing a piece means just getting it off of the back row. Okay, so for example, white has developed its 2 knights and its bishops. They're into the board and they're out attacking things. Okay, they're causing some havoc. So, and white right now is their knights are attacking into these center squares, potentially, and so are the pawns, and so is the bishop. So I think white is at a little more advantageous position here because they're controlling the center and developing more pieces than black right now. Keep your king safe. That's another good strategy to think about. If you lose your king, you lose the game, right? So, and right now, actually, white and black have kept their king pretty safe. They've done a move called castling, which means you get your knight out of the way and you get your bishop out, and you can switch the king and the rook's places, and so the king's safe in the corner over here. So keeping your king safe is a good idea. And offense is the best defense. So if you're thinking more about attacking your opponent, what can you attack, and what can you kind of take their piece? How can you take their next piece instead of how can I save my piece from getting taken? Okay, you want to be on the offensive more. If you're on the attack, then you usually have kind of an edge on your opponent. You have an edge up, and so it's better for planning ahead a little bit more. There's one final rule I can tell you about. If a pawn makes it all the way to the other side of the board, it can transform into any piece, including a queen. Okay? So for example, here's this pawn here on black's side. If they were able to move that piece all the way over to the bottom to their opponent's back row, okay, then once the pawn gets here, it can be swapped out for a queen or any other piece, really. But the queen's the best one, so probably a queen. Same with white. If they get this pawn over here, probably a little more likely, then they can get a queen instead. Today, what are we doing? Let's play some Lichess. Lichess is a really awesome website that is totally live. It's kind of like Spark Chess, but with less ads, and it's kind of even more awesome than the Spark Chess in some ways. So I'll show you that in a few moments. So how do you get to Lichess? Well, you can easily type it in any search bar, lichess.org. Or, of course, you can go to the assignment here, and it says next, click here for Lichess. So let's click for Lichess. Here's Lichess. It brings up this menu, and it shows a bunch of games going on, and it shows current active games too that are being watched. You can watch really advanced players play. Or you can just create a game to play with somebody random, or play with a friend, or play with a computer. You don't have to sign in to play. It'll show you as anonymous, just like all these people are showing up as anonymous right now. But you can make an account if you want, and I suggest it if you're gonna maybe join us a bit more. The reason I say that is there's going to be a chess club that Mr. Stafford is starting, and probably after Thanksgiving break, or maybe right around then. So make an account. To make an account, go to sign in, and then you can click register. Now you got to think of a username, okay? You don't really want to make it your own name. I always like to say, keep your personal information safe. You want to manage your digital footprint and just be responsible online. So it's best not to use your real name when you're making accounts for things usually. So I'll think of a username real quick. And think of a strong password. It'll show you in these bars here, and then put in your email. You could probably just use your school email here. And it says they'll only use it for resetting your password. So write down your password and your username so you don't forget, and you won't have to go into your email at all. And then it makes you agree to these rules. This is the rules of the website. So I agree. Basically, the first one's I agree I'm not going to cheat. Don't cheat. That's not very cool. I always hate it when players on games I'm playing online cheat. It's not fun for anybody. I agree. I'll be nice. All right. Well, that's part of Markham High Five, right? So let's be kind to each other. I agree. I will not create multiple accounts. Okay, I guess that makes sense. And I'll follow the policies. Okay, whatever those are. Register. My username's already taken. Oh no. I'll use 2 capital I's. And I got it. Now I've got an account. So this is a pretty awesome site. You can go to play. You can just play with a computer. To play with a computer, click here, and you can set how hard you want to make the computer, all the way up to really, really hard. Okay? AIs for chess can get so incredibly good that they can beat all the best players in the world. That's how far chess has come today. Hopefully, level 8 isn't that hard of a computer, but we'll start out easy. If you've played chess before, start out, still, I would say start out at least level 2 and work your way up. If not, start on level 1. And you can choose which color you start as, white or black. Usually white goes first. And here we are playing against a computer already. So you can click a piece, and once you click, you'll see what kind of movement it can do by the little green dots or the green spaces that show up. Okay, and then you can see where the computer moved last with the yellow, and the last piece was in yellow. If I click this piece, you can see this little tiny green corners of the box on the enemy piece. That'll let you know that you can attack it, and we should know that the pawns attack diagonally, right? So this computer's not very good. It just moved its pawn for me to attack it. Ta-da! And it moved its queen out. That's odd. Ooh, can we move this guy into checkmate almost? Almost. Let's put him in check already. Anyways, the point is, try a couple games against a computer. You can get pretty deep into this and be playing a complex game against the computer and be putting them in check and all sorts of things. When you're played a few games, take a screenshot. I'll show you how to do that again in a second. To take a screenshot, remember you got to push those 2 buttons. I think it was Control and then the window switch button. And I'll take a screenshot if you want to take a picture of you winning. So you want to push 2 buttons. You want to first push Control. You want to hold down Control with 1 finger. I'm holding down Control. Then with another finger, I'm going to press the window button on the Chromebook. Boop. And it'll say screenshot taken. Okay, over here on the right. Then you want to go back to Seesaw. You want to go to basically add response to the assignment. You want to go to upload. Okay, so here's upload right here. And you want to click select from computer. Okay, so right there. And then you're going to just browse through your downloads folder, and it should have saved your screenshot in this folder. So there's the one I just took. I click open, and I click the checkbox. So hopefully you can take a screenshot of you winning a game against a computer or against somebody real. To play against someone real, here's how you can do that. So we can go back to play against a friend. Okay, you just click play with a friend, and you can make it rated or unrated, I think. So casual or like a ranked game, I guess. I probably can only do that if you make an account. But you can choose which color you start as. You can change how much time you have. And you can even change different game variations. Like, for example, King of the Hill. You're going to bring your king to the center to win. That's probably like a really good practice for that strategy of control the center, right? There's all sorts of cool different game types here besides regular chess. But I think regular chess is pretty awesome. So you can choose your color, the time, and then to play against a friend, you just copy the link it gives you. Okay? Copied. And then you got to send it to that friend. You send that link to the friend, they click the link, and boom. You're playing against your friend, and they don't even have to make an account. It's that easy. So I think when we start the chess club that Mr. Stafford's trying to spearhead, then we can maybe even have maybe even a tournament set up, and everybody can have, once they play their games, we can have a round robin thing. I'm just kind of guessing here. Maybe that might be complicated, but we can all log in at the same time and send each other our links to play chess against each other. Or if you want to play against a friend, in the meantime, you can just contact him and send it to him too. To play against just any old person too, you can just join a random game anonymously, or just do create game, and somebody might just join you right away. It's that easy to play. So have some fun playing chess, and send me a screenshot of you hopefully winning a game, or at least just playing.